So let's just get started. All right. Well, everybody out there that's watching, you know me, I'm Dr. Jaban Moore, and this is Laura.
Hi.
She's a client that I've worked with for, has it been about 3 years now?
So I was thinking about this. I was May, I think, April or May of 2019, maybe. So coming up on 2 years.
Okay, it's been 2 years. It just feels like longer because we've almost been in like a maintenance phase now for a little while, right?
Yeah, for about a year, I would say.
So then that means it only took you about a year to get well, right?
Right. Yeah.
So of course, everybody's going to want to know, what did you deal with? What were your symptoms that led you to the search for help?
Um, well, I'll kind of tell like my backstory a little bit. I was diagnosed at 18 with Lyme, and I was initially started with like joint pain, fatigue. I kind of just thought the fatigue was from everyday life. And then I did a protocol with a doctor, like antibiotics for a year. And I just never felt like I got better or healed. And that was like 15 years ago. I was 18. And so I had a friend who her husband had Lyme, and you helped him. And I just realized, like I'd been dealing with IBS, anxiety over having, these stomach issues, and then just really chronic fatigue, which is ultimately what led me to come see you.
Yeah. I remember when we started, I think we were going to start with another member of your family.
Yes, my son.
And then you decided to come on in. As we got going, there's some ups and downs, right? Like it's not just a straight climb to wellness. There's some tiredness and some
Right.
detox reactions. So what was your experience as you went through healing? I mean, we did numerous protocols for several different types of infections that are associated with Lyme. What was your experience as going through that?
So I feel like really my main symptom throughout, you will feel great after doing a protocol, and then you'll start a new protocol, and then the fatigue will hit. And I struggle with anxiety, and that would go up and down. And then you would feel great. Like I said, you would feel really good. And then you would start, I think the brain phase was one of the hardest phases for me. We ended up doing it twice because you wanted me to get through it without feeling all the fatigue. So I feel like major fatigue was kind of one of the hardest things I battled kind of intermittently throughout each phase.
I'm cheating. I've got my notes up on you. Hopefully you don't mind.
Go ahead.
Look at some of these. I wish I could tell everybody I have them memorized, but it's been a while since 2019.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, anxiety, of course, going up and down, and being a mom and working both, right?
Right.
And you always wanted me to manage the best that we could. You being able to function, do your job, and then
Right.
still being a mom, and then trying to do detox. So as we went through this, how much did you learn about detox supporting your adrenals and energy? Like what are some tips on those things for people?
Oh goodness. I think just like trust the process, maybe. Like you're taking all these pills, you're telling me to fast, you're telling me, and there were times where I was like, oh man, I don't want to start this new phase because I know I'm going to not feel great. But at the end of it, you will see, you will feel better. You will have your energy back. Before I used to feel like every day I would wake up and it was just like a slow crawl going back to bed. And so taking DSF for my adrenals and Mito ATP and all those things have really helped increase my energy, getting me through being a mom of 2 kids and this crazy, year we've had with remote learning. And so I'm glad we are where we are at this point.
Yeah. Well, I kind of want to give people some ideas of what we did as we went through this. So I've kind of been looking. So everybody, if you see me looking up, is because when you do virtual with me, I have computer screens and then I have my camera in the middle. And we did several virtual appointments too. We can talk through that a little bit, even though you are local to me. We started off, like you said, you came in, you said, I have Lyme, I've had testing, it's been 15 years. And I said, okay, we're not going to start there.
Yeah.
And I do that with a lot of people because guys out there, parasites actually live in your body. I don't care what country you are from. I don't care if you've been out of the country. We all pick them up, especially if we have Lyme or mold or other things, because it allows for your body to have a suppressed immune system. And then these parasites can get in your gut. So if you eat, sushi or pork, but also if you eat vegetables, because parasites actually can get their spores inside of the little crevices of vegetables. And here's the thing. I know we're talking about an anxiety symptom. Don't be anxious about eating. Once your body's well, your immune system holds this stuff back, right? So I start with parasites so often, and we go through things like AP and vermicide, which are a little more gentle, right? Those are a little more gentle. And then I told you about this one called Morinda. You remember Morinda?
Yeah. I'm trying to remember that far back. Yeah, I do feel like I had some definite fatigue. And I think maybe some increased anxiety during that one.
Mm-hmm. If you don't mind, I can say it.
Go for it.
All right. So anxiety, we had gotten you down to a 1 to 2 out of 10. Your brain fog had stopped and your fatigue was down to a 3 when we got to Morinda. Once we started Morinda, because everybody loves Morinda, we flared up to a 6 on anxiety. So yeah. I do call that one PMS in a bottle for a reason. And it's not my name. It was the name given by all the patients before that. It makes you tired. It makes you more fatigued. It can cause a weight on your body because it's strong. So when that happens, then I always talk to you about, hey, we need to increase detoxification. And I bet at some point you were just like, I feel worse. I need to take more biotoxin binder. You kind of got on that train where you would do it on your own, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Or there was days where like, I would maybe cut back, if I felt really sick one day, I might not take the full dose and then kind of ease my way back in, kind of listen to my body throughout the process.
And everybody, that is so important to listen to yourself, because as I work through with people, I'm like, look, I can give you an idea of what you need to do, but you have to take control of your own health too. Like, we're a team here, and Laura was a great teammate. She'd be like, there'd be days where she'd just be like, I'm not doing it. I'm not taking it. At first she would call in, you'd get an appointment. She's like, look, this is a struggle. And then after that, I was like, look, you can take a day off every once in a while. You just don't count that as one of your treatment days. And then we move on.
Right.
And then I don't know if I ever had to do this with you. I don't think we did, but I've had people who are like, look, I'm going on vacation. What can we do? Can we like modify this so that I can fit my vacation in? And the answer is mostly yes, especially if you give us a ways out notice. I mean, if you're directly in the middle of a protocol and be like, oh, let's figure this out. Let's do the best we can.
Right.
But yeah, and then, now when you're done, right? So we've been done now for almost a year. We've made it through this crazy year. And I don't even like to mention the name of it on social media because I might get censored or blocked or kicked off. I've had friends that have had that happen to them. But we've been through this crazy year, and you've had it, right?
Yeah, I did. I got sick in December, very mild symptoms. I was actually worried because I felt like I had a weakened immune system prior, but I had a very mild case.
Yeah. And because you are still continuing to do certain things, right? So like we got you off of almost everything. You said you were taking lots of pills at one point. You're almost off of everything now. You mentioned Mito ATP and then Virad Kim, and that's really all we're left on now, isn't it?
Pretty much, yeah.
And for everybody listening, that's kind of my end game is get your body well on its own, eat healthy foods, and then, well, we live in a really crappy toxic environment. So that's why I keep people on Mito ATP and Virad Kim, because Mito ATP helps to keep your mitochondria up, which are your detoxers. They make all your energy, and she wants all the energy she can. She got 2 kids. And then Virad Kim, which is biotoxin binder and HMET binder. So heavy metal binder and biological toxin binder stuck together. And that's just like your foundational stay on this, unless you want to go out and live in the woods off the grid in a very organic environment, which, as you can see by the beautiful home she's in,
is not in the woods.
well, I didn't want this to take a long time. I just wanted to really get out here and be like, you can heal. So is there some things that you can say just like to give people hope?
Yeah, I would just say, kind of my experience, trust your body. If you're fatigued and you don't feel like it's right, go do something, called Dr. Jaban, or um, you know, and move your body every day. That was something I did even when I felt bad. Like every day I was like, I'm going to get up and like I can give 30 minutes to exercise, even walking a day. But I think just the main thing is trust the process. You're going to go through phases where you don't feel great, but at the end of it, you're going to feel much better. We just did another detox right after I got sick, and I was scared I was going to get sick. And you told me like, welcome to the other side. Like I didn't feel bad after doing that, or during that phase. I never really got the dips that I was getting before. So just trust the process of what you're going through and know that you're going to get through it.
Yeah. I always, I always laugh because when people are well, the greatest fear now is being sick again.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, just we gotta let that go. We gotta do some limbic retraining, gotta figure out how to do
Yeah.
some neurofeedback. It's like be well, be happy about it. I begged a client oh gosh, it's been a year. It was before this whole thing happened, but I begged her to have a beer because she was gluten-free, no alcohol for like 5 years trying to get well. And she was ready to go with her husband on a trip. And I'm like, I don't want you to be an alcoholic, but just have that beer that you are sitting here
Right.
telling me that you're like sad you're not gonna have. I'm like, have it, you're good. Live your
Right.
life, have fun. But like you said, we just did a detox because we live in a toxic environment and you need to do something once or twice a year just to make sure you keep that health that you work so hard for.
Right.
But unless you have something else to add, I just really appreciate you coming out here. We're already getting comments of people saying, thank you, this is helpful. And they're just praising you for coming out because they're going through it. I know one of them pretty well, and she's got kind of a story like yours. And it's just people want to know there's hope.
Right. Yeah. Well, thank you for helping me because I couldn't have done it without you.
You are
So I
extremely
appreciate
welcome.
you.
I appreciate you coming out here, and I look forward to seeing you again, although that might be a while now that you're healthy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Have a great rest of your day.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Bye.
Talk to you soon. Bye.